Welcome to This Week in the World of Wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Monday Night Raw review. And guys, this Raw, well, it was very interesting for me because I really enjoyed how it opened. So you can pretty much say, like, I enjoyed the first hour. Middle of the show was a bit meh for me personally, but then it really picked up towards the last hour. So I don't know if you necessarily call this the middle of the road Raw. I'd say it was pretty strong overall, but it did have its dips. Overall, though, I'd say I had fun with it. Ashton, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I would rate this Raw as not the worst Raw of the month out of 10.
Yeah, there you go.
But honestly, though, probably like a solid 7.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that score.
Maybe it could squeak out a 7.5 just because there were certain things that I really enjoyed and are going to have sort of those long-lasting effects, like GIFs being upvoted to the top of Reddit and that kind of stuff.
Right, like, see, and I guess I'm kind of right there with you, except I'm kind of the inverse. It's like 6.5 to a 7 with me. I will say though that some things that were good, they were really good. Like some of the things set up for SummerSlam, which we will get into. So yeah, not a bad Raw by any means. But let's just stop being general about it. Let's get right into our first segment to be more crystal clear about it. Heat of the night, and if this gives you any indication, I don't have any heats tonight. Nothing really explicitly ticked me off about this show. So I guess I'm feeling pretty good for the most part. Ashton, what about you?
I have a nitpick.
All right, brother. Well, why don't you share it with us?
Overusage of the word revolution as referring to the Divas. I am getting so sick of them doing nothing but talking about this revolution, and yet the only thing that's actually changed is that they're getting more match time now.
Yeah, see, Ashton, here's my problem with this.
No, John, you got to understand it's a revolution.
Yeah.
John, it's a revolution.
Yeah.
The Divas Revolution, John.
It's
not as annoying when I do it as it is on Monday Night Raw, just so that you guys realize this.
I'm not going to contend any of your points. I think what bothers me about it is the same thing that bothers me about most of Dolph Ziggler's promos. When you use language like that, language that I think we could all agree is pretty powerful, like a word like revolution really evokes something within you when you hear it.
Yeah.
You know, you think of like a wide-scale thing. You think of like an upheaval of a current system that just wasn't servicing the people. You know, I feel like the watchers, you know, the audience, if you will, should be giving out the term revolution, not the people necessarily participating. You could say that your aim is revolution, but don't tell me that you've already achieved it only after a few weeks.
Exactly.
You know, that's kind of my thing.
It's just that WWE tendency to turn everything into a marketing term.
Exactly, or more
generally. They did it with Suplex City, they did it with Fandangoing, and now, of course, they're doing it with the Divas Revolution, which I hate to even say as many times as I have now, having needed to say it that time.
Right. I mean, it's a marketing ploy, and really, when you go further beyond that, it's just plain hyperbole. Mm-hmm. It's just WWE saying, "Hey, look, guys, look at how progressive we are." And see, that's why, and see, this is why I've got it on the brain, even though it's gone now. Lucha Underground, they've never had to proclaim, "Oh, look at the revolution we're having with our women." They go out and they do it.
Well, they've never had to proclaim that they're having any kind of a revolution because from day one, they've had women wrestling men and hanging with them.
Exactly. You know. It's just, but even so, whether you're doing it right out of the gate or it takes you, you know, you're a little late to the party, actions will always speak louder than words.
Yeah, the WWE has never been one for subtlety, but whether they get good at subtlety or not, the one thing that I think they need to learn over everything else is to show and not tell.
Exactly. I mean, Ashton, if you'd really want to show it, and I'm being perfectly honest here, you know that Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha, they've always talked about, you know, wanting to main event a pay-per-view. Charlotte's very ambitious in saying a WrestleMania, but why not have two of these women, like a really well-built program, main event a pay-per-view?
Well, we haven't really had enough time for a program to get well-built, so I'm not necessarily following you on that one.
I'm just saying hypothetically. Like, if you really wanted to talk about a revolution, then let's do it. Let's build it brick by brick. I mean, really,
I think that the biggest issue right now is that they're literally just stalling for time while Nikki Bella holds the championship.
which is really annoying. I'm hoping Nikki Bella drops it by Night of Champions. I think by then she'll have already surpassed the record, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's under 30 days left until she breaks the record.
So by Night of Champions, maybe she'll have exceeded, because there are still 2 weeks before SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that should be okay. And then, honestly, I'm wondering if they won't just put Sasha, you would think, right?
Well, realistically, they're going to put it on Charlotte. If we're being realistic, that's probably what's going to happen.
Exactly. But to bring it full circle with your nitpick, I agree. It just, to me, like you said, it's marketing ploy. And for me, it's more just they feel like the job's already done because they got more match time when, the women, and in particular, I do mean, again, Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, and maybe a few others, they're capable of so much more than just longer match time. They're capable of bigger spots on the card, better programs.
Oh,
things
and
like
by
that.
the way, as far as the longer match time thing goes, I don't know if you noticed, but we were back down to one Divas segment tonight.
That is true. That is very true.
They had one segment, and they crammed all 9 women in there, and they just kind of... We had a 6-woman tag team match, and the other 3 were on commentary, and... Really, as far as commentary goes, I mean, if I had to guess, I would say that someone backstage just straight up told Becky and Charlotte not to talk and just let Paige do all the talking. Because, Cole asked Becky what she thinks, and all she did say was, oh, yeah, I put her in the disarmor. And then Cole mentioned Naomi, I think it was, and she was like, yeah, I put her in the disarmor too. And that's it. Becky just didn't say anything. And it was almost like she was afraid to talk. And these girls have spoken out on commentary before, so it's not like this is the first time they're doing it and they have some kind of stage fright. So I'm guessing they were given some kind of direction to not say anything and just let Paige do all the talking.
I'm really concerned, about their arrival and about this shift, be it however slow at the moment, for these women, given the report that I read, and I shared it with you about a Divas tag team match that I think is set to air this week on SmackDown.
No. It was last week's.
It was last week?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it didn't do much damage, but then again, you did say it was just one segment tonight and everything else.
Well, and plus,
I don't know.
I mean, the really ridiculous thing is that it was Naomi's fault, really. I mean, some people say that it might have had something to do with Becky Lynch not taking a cue from Naomi, but the reason that she didn't take the cue from Naomi is because Naomi screwed everything up ahead of time to the point that the cue didn't have context.
Right.
Naomi was completely off in the match, and she blew a couple spots, and it really set the rhythm of the entire match off. So that all comes resting on Naomi's shoulders. And now tonight, Naomi didn't even really do much. I mean, I know she had some spots and stuff, but it really the finish of the match was Brie Bella pinning Tamina. So, whatever.
Yeah, so I guess if you have anything else you want to say about her nitpick, we can move on.
Nope.
All right, guys, let us get right into our Monday Night Raw review. And I guess it would be better to say, given our opening segment, Raw is Rollins.
That's right.
Seth Rollins opens the show. And I gotta say, Ashton, I loved the energy of Seth Rollins here, and the crowd, which took place in Washington tonight, did this Raw, was absolutely fantastic.
Washington State specifically,
thank you, was very energetic, really engaging with Rollins, and again, I just loved how he was really bragging. He used 2 lines here. He said, I'm the man who broke the face that runs the place. You can't see me. So I really like that he used those 2 lines. Again, he has a shirt that kind of says the same thing with the whole "you can't see me." Brags about what he did to John Cena. Talks about how John Cena still has yet to answer his challenge for title versus title for SummerSlam. The crowd starts harping on him for selling out, which has just become so old. And I love the indifference that Rollins treats it. I think that's different because there are some heels, no matter how old a line is, it'll always get to them. But Rollins just kind of shows indifference to it. And it's like, come on, guys. We've been over this. Is that really the best you got? So I love that. And then he does a mockery of John Cena. He hypes the crowd up thinking, oh my God, John Cena's here. But then he's really on via satellite. And just, Seth Rollins doing the voiceover of John Cena was gold. Really enjoyed that. Just made John Cena look absolutely pathetic, at least, through Seth Rollins' eyes. And yeah, just great stuff from Rollins. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Rollins' heel mic work has gotten so good. It's amazing to me that he's gone from on his way to FCW, people being like, oh, he's such a good worker, but he's just so bad on the mic that WWE's going to need to find a way to cover it up. And now, I think most people would agree that he's one of the top 5 talkers in the company.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame, Ashton, that Seth Rollins' first title reign is going to be marred by the way he handled certain defenses or certain feuds or how the authority treated him, because he really does exude a confidence that I love in a heel champion on the microphone. There's a lot right about Seth Rollins, and
Yeah.
you and I have talked about him before. Our concerns have never been with the performer. I think it's just
Exactly.
always been everything around the performer, which
Yep.
is really a tragedy because you hear Seth in interviews, he wants to be the man. He wants this spot and he wants to do right by the spot. And
I'm
I
telling you,
love.
man, it's all going to get made better when Rollins and Ambrose both turn, because I feel like Ambrose is in a spot right now where he is just completely stagnated. People will cheer for him, but he's not really getting those top level like Daniel Bryan in Seattle pops, like, well, kind of like what we got tonight, even though it wasn't in Seattle, it was still in the state. And Rollins, when he turns, he's going to get that kind of reaction.
Oh, I absolutely believe it. I think the world championship reign of Seth Rollins when he's a babyface, because this won't be his last time on top of the mountain. No freaking way. It will be that reign that I think everybody was expecting from him. But you know what? I think I'm still going to come away from this title reign when it all ends, and that could be at SummerSlam. Still thinking that for me personally, it was positive for the most part. I enjoy Seth Rollins. This is a great promo. It was interrupted, though, first and foremost, by Cesaro.
Well, actually, hang on a second. I just wanted to bring up that Rollins brought up about how Cena is going to be on Tough Enough tomorrow.
Right, yes.
And I
So
love the line he used because he said, Cena isn't tough enough to hang with me.
yeah. Again,
That was
so
cool.
good with the lines tonight.
And then
So good.
the whole moving mouth gimmick that he did with Cena, with the picture of Cena with a broken nose, was just dumb.
Do you remember what he did when it's like, hey Seth, I say hustle, loyalty, respect. Then he replaced it with three other lines, and I'm trying to remember. I know one was rehab.
Surgery, recovery, and rehab.
Surgery, recovery, and rehab. But then, I like the moving mouth gimmick because then the one line, and guys, remember, never give up unless Seth Rollins breaks your face. Just fantastic.
Well, I mean, I said it was really dumb, but I think I need to put that in context. It's really dumb in that it's something John Cena would do that we would hate. But now that it's like the shoes on the other foot, I still laughed at it.
Right.
Just because Cena was kind of on the opposite end of a joke that he would normally be the one delivering.
Absolutely. Yeah, you make it actually a great point there because I think back to some of Cena's prior feuds, like how he would Photoshop crap to make certain heels look really bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting with the shoe on the other foot. But you know what though, it does fit more in line with the heel, which is why I think sometimes people do get mad at John Cena because you're supposed to be a babyface and you're doing stuff like that. But I digress. Rollins, keeps bragging about himself, but then again, as I said, Cesaro does interrupt. The cool thing here, first of all, a lot of Cesaro section signs.
Yeah,
And
there's actually a Reddit user that prints out a few thousand at a time and just kind of hands them out at the arena.
that is a dedicated fan right there. Respect. But the big thing here, again, going back to the crowd at Washington State, I loved how participatory they were with Cesaro because Cesaro kept saying, Seth, I didn't want to come out here because I know you were going on and on and on and on, and he kept saying on and on over and over, and the crowd actually joined with him in the on and on, and almost became kind of like a chant. I love that. I think that really shows how much fanfare Cesaro has gained since they really started turning up the heat and let him go out there and do his thing. And once again, may I just say, the guy rocks a suit like a freaking beast.
Yeah, Jason Statham, man, I'm telling you.
Absolutely, with just as much badass. So, he comes out and he makes an inference. Seth, you were talking about your WWE World Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge, how you beat Neville. Well, I think I deserve a championship match tonight. Seth is quick to put an end to that, saying, I didn't say anything about an Open Challenge tonight, and what have you even done to deserve it? And he's really laying into Cesaro. But then Kevin Owens comes out because the opinion of a father is the only one that matters. And he says, well, Seth, I can answer that for you. Nothing. Cesaro has done absolutely nothing to earn a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. And then Kevin Owens goes on to say, unlike, say me, because unlike the two of you, I've actually beaten John Cena. In fact, Seth, it was only recently that you tapped out to John Cena. And if anybody deserves a World Championship match, it's me.
Yeah.
So then Seth again puts a stop to that. He's like, listen, you two idiots.
I'm not defending the title tonight.
Exactly. But then Randy Orton comes out.
Yeah, and Orton just takes it to everyone. I love it. He's talking about how he deserves a title shot, and I don't think he. That's right. It's funny because like he does this thing where he'll like run people down, and he's like, "Kevin, have you lost a little weight lately?" Or no, it was put on. Have you put on a little weight lately? And Kevin just kind of like super sheepishly just goes, "No." And then Orton moves on. Cesaro, nice shades. Rollins, like that's all you have to say to Cesaro is that you like his sunglasses, even if it was in a mocking way.
I don't know. And then, with Rollins, he goes over, the whole authority thing, this and that. And he says, I deserve a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. And then Seth, who, I mean, his new t-shirt should really say open mouth, insert foot, goes on to say that it doesn't matter what any of you think. It doesn't matter what the authority thinks.
Whoa. You're missing the line of the night, brother.
Which was?
Tom Brady has a better chance of getting a free meal in Seattle than any of you guys have getting a shot at my title.
Oh, the cultural relevancy. But
you actually got that joke, John.
Yeah, but I guess I've been watching enough football with you after all.
Yeah.
But Seth Rollins says, it doesn't matter what any of you think. It doesn't matter what the authority thinks. All that matters is what I think. And Triple H comes out, and I just love this man's diction.
The timing.
It's very interesting choice of words there, Seth. And then Seth's just like, wait a minute. You know what I meant. I gotta keep the gravy train rolling. Let me put the lips to that ass. You know your opinions mean a lot to me. And then Triple H is like, regardless, we got a predicament. All right, I'm done. And he says,
Doctors say Cena is 50-50 at best to making it to SummerSlam, so we need to set up some precautions just in case that can't happen.
Yeah, we need to strengthen that buy rate, Seth. So here's what's gonna happen.
That seems to me like they don't really even need to do that. They could probably just go into it with Brock Lesnar and the Stephen Amell match being announced, and they would still probably sell out the arena and get a record-breaking buy rate for SummerSlam.
At this rate, I'm inclined to agree with you, but we will get to the whole Stephen Amell thing later. But Triple H does announce a triple threat: Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. Winner faces Seth Rollins that night. So for the second straight week, we actually do have a WWE World Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge. Now, Ashton, before we go into that part of the segment, I just want to
Open Challenge.
Well, I guess you could have said the same when Rusev, Cesaro, and Owens did the same for John Cena. But I mean, it's so many claimants in an Open Challenge, and then they weed it out for a future match. Yeah. So I think you get what I'm trying to say. But I love that
when John Cena does it, no one says anything, and yet when Seth Rollins does it, it makes him a heel.
I know. But what I wanted to ask you was, with 2 weeks left until SummerSlam, do you think this is going to be a regular occurrence for Seth? That people are just going to step up in John Cena's absence until SummerSlam, where John Cena's finally able to be the one to beat Seth Rollins?
I mean, there's only one Raw left, so...
That's true. Maybe they will do it one more time before SummerSlam.
Yeah,
so.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that triple threat is announced. I enjoyed it. Great interaction between Triple H and Seth there. And overall, really fun segment. I like the energy of it.
I could even see them having it be Cesaro, and then Sheamus does the same thing next week that he did this week. And rather than having Sheamus versus Orton and Cesaro versus Owens, we turn it into a triple threat, or a fatal four-way.
That'd be pretty cool. Certainly would be different.
Just a number one contender's fatal four-way. I think that would be cool.
Absolutely. So I've got nothing more to say about this, and unless you do, I think we can move on.